What I loved so much about Operation Mincemeat is that like it was like prop and change and like you would change, you would twirl and then you're in a different costume. Like
Mhm.
it's like unbelievable
It
how
really is.
that happens on stage.
It's so fascinating. First of all, I have a lot of experience with multi-role shows. I did come from away for many years. Dead Outlaw, I played 8 different characters. But this, the way in which how we switch, like you said, is so fast that when we were learning it, we sort of don't even think about those things. That's like the second layer. You start by just knowing where you stand and what you say and how you get from A to B. And then it's like, okay, let's add some props because props are a whole other level. And it's with the specificity of like, okay, when I hand him the cell phone, I have to grab the top part where your ear goes instead of the bottom part so that he can flip it this way and pass it that way. It's like everything is like science. And so then the third layer is costumes. And unlike every show I've ever gone into, usually you just have a put in and you do everything at once. With this show, the costumes are so complex and so intricate that we have a costume tech, even just for the replacement team. So we came in full hair and makeup because you have to be able to figure out how to put the hats on and off without messing up your hair and how to like, I do a couple quick rig changes with other cast members where I rip their top part off and then I run off stage. Like it was a whole day in the theater just moving through all those costume changes.
And you never had to do that before for any other replacement role that you've had.
No.
What is your favorite moment or scene? Because there are so many intricate parts to it.
It changes every night. I think what's so special about Mincemeat is like we're really, especially Montague, I break the fourth wall the whole time. So I'm really locked in with the audience. And I usually tend to enjoy whatever they're enjoying the most because I'm so invested in them. But pretty consistently, I love the end of Act One and the end of Act Two, which I think I'm not allowed to talk about in interviews.
I love how last year you were nominated for Dead Outlaw with the cast of Operation Mincemeat, and then you're taking over the role.
Yeah.
What did you learn from them last year within this process to bring with you to
Mm.
getting the part?
It's very interesting. First of all, I met Tash, who originated
Yeah,
Montague.
me too. She's so nice.
I mean, I love her. We met at a stylist. We were using the same stylist for the Tony nominee luncheon, and our appointments were back to back. And she walked in and she was like, "Oh my God, I just saw Dead Outlaw." And I turned to Zoe, who plays Bevan and helped write the show as well. I turned to Zoe and said, "She's a Montague." This is the first thing Tash ever said to me. And I was like, well, that's cool. I saw your show. I would love to play this part. And it sort of just became, like it was my first nomination and it was their first nomination. And we all just sort of like were able to say hello to each other at every event. And I got to know Jack quite well because we were sort of on the same interview circuit. And then a year later, I got this in my inbox and thought, oh, wow, that would be fun. Like, that would be really cool to get to replace in this show, in this community that I already feel connected to. But of course, like, I didn't audition for the creative team until the final callbacks. It's like, I'm working with the director and I'm working with the casting office and I'm working with the music director, but Tash and Zoe and Dave, who I knew the best, didn't come in until the very last day.
So what
So,
the email in your inbox was an invite to audition or an invite for the role?
no, an invite to audition.
The Jimmy Awards, because you are, an alumni. I would love to hear just more about how that helped shape your career.
It's interesting. I was in the first year in 2009, and it was still becoming it was not what it is now. Like now it is such a launching pad for people's careers, which is just incredible to watch. And I got to be there last year to help present one of the awards, and it knocked my socks off. These children are wildly talented, and the program is so singular. But it was the first year, and so we were all kind of trying to figure out what this was. And I had already booked my first Broadway show and I think I started rehearsals like a week after the Jimmy Awards. But I didn't tell anyone because I sort of was like, I'd gone to the open call. I was not a kid actor. I had never auditioned for anything professionally before. And it sort of just like happened. And still felt in shock. And then to like win my local paper mill award, actually, Rising Star for Thoroughly Modern Millie, small world. And to get to go to the Jimmy Awards was like cool enough as it was just to meet all these talented kids from across the country, many of whom are still working in the industry, which is amazing. But it's been so cool to watch it grow from the seed of the first year to like the full forest, blossoming forest that it is now, where it has launched so many people's careers.
And what did you perform then? Was it the same format
It was a
back then?
little different. I mean, we did do the medleys, and we did like group numbers, but now I noticed last year there's a lot more opportunities. There's like other awards that people are winning. I think if I remember correctly, the first year it was just the finalists and the winners, which I was not a finalist. I was um very intimidated by all these people. I always consider myself an actor first, and everyone's voices were so incredible that I was sort of like, you know what? You go, girl. You go, go, get it. And I sort of like hid in the background at the Jimmy Awards. I was a little shy back then.
What got you to Broadway? Because you were a teenager. How old were you?
I was 16.
16.
Um, Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, my parents were both actors. They started this community theater company in New Jersey before I was born, and I grew up doing shows like from the time I could walk, from the time I was in utero, really.
Yeah.
But I just always this is what I did, and there was sort of this sureness in me that this would be my career path. However I would find my way there, I did not know, but I found out that they were doing an open call in New York City for the revival of Bye Bye Birdie, and they were looking for real kids. And I asked my parents if I could go to the open call and thought they would say no, but they said yes. And my dad and I got up at 4 in the morning, drove into the city, wrapped around 43rd Street 6 times in a line, and got typed in, got to sing for Kate Boca, who changed my life. And then
What'd
I
you
think
sing?
I sang Not for the Life of Me from Thoroughly Modern
Okay,
Millie
because you were just
because
doing that,
I
right?
was doing Millie and I was like, this is great. This is like spunky. This is
Yeah.
fine. It was like literally a 16 bar cut. Um, and I ended up having like, I think 8 or 9 callbacks. They were really putting us through it because it was real kids. And I think they wanted to be sure that we could show up and be consistent. And then I ended up booking it, which was literally the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. All my dreams came true. And I found myself in what at the time I look back on it and I'm so proud of 16-year-old me because she ended up taking on a lot. I was understudying, I was the dance captain. I was like, yeah, I was like putting people into the show with Peter Hansen, the production stage manager, like crazy. And what I realized in that time, and I try to come back to it now, is like this is the same thing as community theater. There's just a little more money and a little more pressure and like a bigger audience. But like at the end of the day, whether you're doing a show in your high school or your community theater or regional theater or Broadway, like it's all the same art form. We're all coming together to tell a story in hopes that we can move people and make them feel something. And on the days where like it feels very overwhelming and there's a lot of pressure, I try to come back to that sensation that 16-year-old me like walked on stage like, woo, this is gonna be fun. And I try to keep that inside me
When you do Operation Mincemeat and you
for sure.
change 800 times. Do
Yeah.
you go over the show every night, or you just you know it that you don't have to do it?
I think this is my 8th week I'm starting tonight. The first 3 or 4 weeks, I was in a pretty constant state of terror, like because there's so many words and so many lyrics and so much to do that like you kind of have to simultaneously fly by the seat of your pants and stay very focused. You can't think ahead a couple of lines, even, you have to like stay in the moment and just take it one word at a time, which was beneficial to me the first week. And then second and third weeks, I was like, oh God, do I know this? And now I think I've come back around to like, yes, it's in my body now. I know it. I am able to like relax, drop my shoulders, play a little more. But I will say Tuesdays, which is today, are always a little extra intimidating because like we've been away from it for a day. And there's a part of my brain that's always like, well, you probably don't know this, but we might as well start. Nah.
Messed up. Have you messed up?
Oh, I mess something up every night. And that's honestly like one of my favorite things about the show is that it will never be perfect. There's so much that can go wrong that something ultimately will go wrong, which is such a good lesson in like instant forgiveness. You just got to like let it roll and move forward. 99% of the time, the audience doesn't notice. And the 1% that they do, they love it. They
I was
love
going to
watching
just chime
stuff.
in and say, I love when you mess up
Yeah.
because it's just part of the art form and it's just fun to see how you pick it back up, you know?
Exactly.
There was funny, City Center, there, what celebrity was it? Oh yeah, Andrea Martin. And they were on book and then she forgets her line or something. And then there was a whole bit where they come over, they show her on the script where the line is in City Center in the show. And then I posted a video about it on Instagram and I was like, my favorite part of the show was when Andrea Martin forgot her line. And then I think like Paul Wondrek commented like, oh, I guess she does this every night. So it was like a bit where she purposely
Hilarious. She's like, you know what this audience is gonna love?
yeah, and that's genius.
So
Genius.
funny.
So that's okay,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's something that was sort of woven into the experience, especially by the Brits for the last year, because they would play with the audience. There have been a few moments where I've like interrupted the show to have to welcome someone in. We had a phone go off. Um, and I was gonna let it slide, but then Brandon, who was playing Charles, Brandon Contreras, was like all of a sudden reacting to the sound. And so I thought, okay, well, we're gonna talk to this woman. And she was like 109 years old, tiny little bean, whose phone was on full volume going off. And
Makes
I was like,
sense.
are you done? Have you figured it out? We needed to give her a minute.
And then how did
And
she respond to
she
it?
was lovely. The audience laughed. It was delightful. Um, and then just the other day, like somebody there's a line I'm sure you know in the show where I'm like, okay, what's his name? And Charles says tub. And my line is supposed to be tub. That's barely even a sound. And somebody in the audience goes, what? And the whole audience heard it. And so I turned and I was like, it's exactly what I was thinking. And they lost it. And then I was able to do a callback to it later in the show. And it was just like the audience loves this stuff.
I
Loves
love that. That's
it.
so fun. It's like they're part of the show too, you
Yeah.
know, and you're bringing
Exactly.
them with you in that way.
Exactly.
Anything else you want to mention, Julia?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, come see Operation Mincemeat.
And then your next multicasted role.
Whatever it is, I'm sure I'll
Top
play multiple
billing,
parts.
only play multiple characters. Don't sign me if I'm only playing one.
I know, just watch the next one. It's a one-woman show. And I'm
But you're going to be like Patrick Page in that Scrooge where he was like every role, right? Didn't he just do that?
is
You could do a
incredible.
Christmas Carol and play all the roles just like he did.
Let's go. I'm down. Female Scrooge. It's about time.